welcome to Outside the Box. The normal one, yes, not a special edition tonight, but they're all special because, well, gosh darn, you're special. Hi, I'm your host, Kate of Gaia, here on Outside the Box, Freedom Reigns, Blog Talk Radio. Yeah, it's been good of late, eh? I gotta tell you. Well, we got Peter and Tony on the call right now. Just waiting for Santo and Miranda from the UK. So we're going to have you guys one hell of a show tonight, that I promise. I'm going to bring a couple of things to the table that will definitely bring a new perspective to a couple of things, some age-old paradigms that it's time to start shredding some stuff and really peeling back the layers of this illusion as to what the original sin is and how we got our sorry asses into this contract to begin with. Because that's kind of been the path I've been on all along, and you know, right or wrong, I don't give a shit. I'm just looking for truth. And Peter, what about you?
Oh, just on the crunchberry path to bringing these folks into compliance with the real world, thinking somebody died and left them God.
Yeah, isn't that the truth? Well, it's going to get into some pretty heady territory here, so I'm just going to keep my eyes open for Miranda. I've given her some directions, so if she needs me and I get quiet, it's because I'm trying to help her to get into the room here, into the call. And I should mention to people, Tony, we got you live here. Just want to make sure you're good and ready to go there.
Yep, more than good, great.
Oh, there he is. Listen to that. All right. I do want to mention to people that this is a call-in show. You can call in via Skype. You'll see your little Skype button on your radio page. If it's not there, just refresh it, and it will appear like magic, like the rest of this universe. Or you can call us at area code 714-868-0749. That's area code 714-868-0749. That way, if you want to get in on the call, we'd love to have you. And hey, it's up to you, right? So, Peter, I think we're going to start tearing some brand new ones tonight. I'm going to give you the opening chainsaw because I know you're just chomping at that cable to get it pulled and fire that puppy up. So, where do you want to make the first cut in the system?
No, let's start in all these false lies they keep dragging to court against dead entities, against dead men and women who they've basically raped the estates of my brothers and sisters because they didn't know they were operating under estates. So they keep drafting everybody for performance and bringing them into the game. And I'm working on some little golden nuggets to bring this out the other side. I'm hoping I'll have a much more clarity, but yeah, we won't talk about the red box tonight much, but be steady in holding that we are moving the train forward on a different level, and they will be getting the memo. So that's the whole point of the exercise. They got to get the memo because they really think somebody died and left them in charge. So they call us the dead ones. They're the ones that are dead. They're dead inside. They are the soulless ones for the lucre, and they've been doing these dirty deeds for hundreds of years. And now the poop is getting out of the elephant, and it's all catching up with them. Matter of fact, they're getting very nervous across the board in USA Inc. So they've got to create some more chasms, via, their little games called, these people are trying to secede, and they don't know who they are, so we're going to have to put them in a box so we can hypothecate some more bonds off them because, gee, nobody's lending USA Inc. any money. Oh, and hey, while we're at it, we can rape all the rest of the estates, rape the bank accounts, the 401(c)(3)s, all the other crap that everybody's laid over, didn't know that they signed it over because they didn't read the damn banking contract. Matter of fact, yeah, nobody reads anything, sort of like the driver's license they go sign up for, saying they're a vessel in commerce and completing the circle. Well, like I say, I can't blame my brothers and sisters, but, at the same time, yeah, I guess in a way we have to take responsibility for our own actions. If we're not willing to read and educate ourselves on how this is going down, then I guess we're in a conundrum. And so how do we release ourselves from the conundrum is just pulling back the curtain and finding out the truth. So we're definitely on the right page, but yeah, they're doing some very fun stuff across USA Inc. Now they want to classify everybody as a sovereign citizen. Gee whiz. A label. Oh, we want to put a label on you so we can hypothecate some dollars off you because we're broke. We don't have no more money, so we got to rape your estate. Jeez. Yeah, well, that drum's about done beat out. And so,
isn't it?
Anyways, yeah.
Yeah, I got that article you sent over, by the way, and of course you see the pictures of the two jarheads that were sitting at the desk like they were almost looking important. But I got to tell you, it's a great way to know how deep we are going into the belly of the beast and literally piercing the heart when you see a couple of guys dedicated from North Carolina to educating clerks of the court, and we're talking to deed registry offices, everything. They are getting hammered. And here's the thing, the more that they have to try to alert those inside as to what's going on, all it's doing is creating more and more awareness as to what's going on. And this is how they're destroying themselves, and it's beautiful. So I really wish they would bring out a whole lot more stuff on the sovereign citizens to give us more exposure. I'm not a sovereign citizen, but I'm just talking about truth and the awakening in general here. I would never claim to be a sovereign or a sovereign citizen or a free man or any of that garbage. Because, people, I got to tell you something. It's been a long walk, and yeah, the words sounded good at the beginning, but when you really get into the nitty-gritty of this shite, you start to see the traps that they are. And I got to tell you, well, Pete, you're right. They are running shitless right now, and I am so loving it. It's funny to watch these guys in a panic. So...
Yeah, I mean, here's the irony. They say, oh, well, if you have nothing to hide, yet they're bugging everybody's computers, going through their emails, going through this. This past week, Obamaism passed another nefarious executive order under the cloak of darkness while nobody was paying attention. Everybody's dead of damn sleep. We've got to know what's in your computer and stuff. Folks, I mean, when it's like, this is a paramount to a friggin' psychological rape as well as emotional rape because, I mean, when somebody's got to come in and read my shit, my mail, I mean, if your life is that friggin' boring that you got to come read my shit because you got the fucking thought police out there friggin' worried about that I might say something or do something or create I mean, this is the most crazy making crap I've ever seen in my entire life. In the 52 years of my walking upright on the earth, you gotta love how the scum-sucking bottom soulless feeders have nothing better than to do than create a chasm between their brothers and sisters. You know what? They're not. These are. Yeah, I'm starting to really believe the reptilian modality that people are bringing forward. I mean, they definitely genetic code is screwed up on a different level because I don't think to broach anybody's privacy in any way, shape, or form on any level. Do no harm is where I come from. I am not a threat to anyone. I come in peace. Yet you want to come into my world and create all this mayhem. So that tells me you're a chicken shit piece of crap that's got nothing better to do with your sorry loser life. You've got no soul. I'm going to go on a little tear tonight because, I am really sick and tired of these scum-sucking losers. I mean, you got to be a soulless piece of crap that you can actually do the deeds that you do. Yeah, you shall know them by their deeds. Well, I know them by their deeds, and they are nothing but nefarious, bottom-feeding bloodsuckers. I mean, we got to protect our kids.
You gotta go, man. You gotta learn to open up because Tony and I've been working with you to get you to really start expressing and embrace the feminine masculine, to let that emotional, I love you.
It's just, it's a sad, it's really, really a pathetic, sad state of affairs that this is actually going on in my so-called world. I mean, under the guise of protectionism, what a crock of crap that is. These people can't find their freaking asses with both hands. They can't protect shit. Matter of fact, their objective is not to protect. Their objective is to destroy because they are soulless and they have nothing better to do because they're afraid they're going to lose their power and control. Well, hell, son of a bitches, you never had it to start with. How about getting that memo? Yeah, because you can't contain what you never had to start. You might think you got it in your mind. Yeah, you might have some batons, you might have some Laws rockets, you might have some hand grenades, whatever. You know, but you got no soul. So guess what? You got nothing. You're a loser with a capital L. What type of scum actually does this type of crap to their brother? So I'm figuring they're devoid of total capacity, total functionality of having a soul. So, you know, I think I'm hitting the nail on the head. And if y'all are listening, you better start going looking in the freaking mirror, because you know what, you will be dealt with on a different level. Yeah, maybe not by me. You can kill the bodies, but you can't kill the spirits. Whatever. I forgot to take my medication today. Damn it.
You have inspired me, Peter. I'm going to dedicate at least 15 minutes of every Outside the Box show to a new segment I'm going to dedicate to Pete. You're going to run it, and it's called Pass Me the Chainsaw.
Yeah, they'll call it Peter's Rant.
Oh, my goodness. You know, and here's the thing. For all the times that people have tuned in, and so much time I've had the opportunity to spend with you, the joy of listening to you when you go off on these, you bring it to the table, but you don't bring intention with it, which is, you know, you're stating the case, and it is strictly, all I can feel coming out of you is empathy, pity, and just the sheer desire for these nefarious ones, as you like to call them, just to wake up. And this is the joy of listening to your rants. That's why I giggle, because, and same with Santo, it's the same deal. You know, you guys can go off on this beautiful tear, and it's completely devoid of any sort of maliciousness. It's just the sheer nurturing of wanting these beings to, give them a shake and wake up, you know. So it's always colorful. It's always enlightening.
Yeah, I'm still trying to wonder in my mind how they can look themselves in the mirror and actually like what they see. So it's obviously that you don't see, because, you know, I learned this young. People that have really good senses of self, they don't throw stones across the street at their brothers. You know, when you have a good, healthy sense of self and you know who you are as a man, you don't have to take pot shots across everybody else's bow to justify and validate that you think you're king shit or something better than what you are. You know what? Because we're all men. We all put our pants on the same day, and women, you know, and nobody died and left you God. But somehow you think you have some extra perception or extra special clout that you can do these dirty deeds under the guise that somebody died and left you in charge. Boy, talk about stuck on stupid. Talk about a grandiose bunch of sons of bitches. I mean, who literally don't have a clue who the hell they are in their minds. You're such a weak-kneed willy that you've got to go break down doors of people, beat people up, force compliance at the end of a gun, and call it a voluntary act. I mean, I think they call it insanity from where I live.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, and that's one of the things that I do want to broach on tonight in regards to the original sin. I'm going to be sharing the story of Cain and Abel with everyone from a completely different perspective as it unfolded to me this afternoon in a couple of minor download epiphanies on the fly, and I saw a whole lot of things tie in together. Like everything's just clicking. And it's going to actually bring into play that which you have been talking about, because when we're dealing with controversy, and we've talked about this a lot, all of us, when you're dealing with controversy, especially in court, anytime there is controversy, what you're dealing with there is division of self. Anytime there's a debate or an argument, when there has to be a position of defense or to try to take the position of the high road or the higher road or whatever the case may be. We're all very familiar with it. It's one of the reasons why I spend most of my time just breathing and just feeling stuff coming at me constantly, to the point where it's like, you know what, I don't want this anymore. It's yours, and I just throw it back. It's just the way I am. I'll carry as much as I possibly can. And you've worked with myself and Tony and Santo and others enough to know me in general. When I am bringing across a concept, And I do this on the webinars for Maria Janet that I do every Thursday. This is the joy of this, in that when I'm presenting a concept, I literally have, it might not be a 2 or 3 step concept to get to the finished point, but most times it's going to take 6 or 7 points to get people to go, okay, I know exactly what you're saying, and I can duplicate exactly what you're asking me to have a look at. So I'm not trying to ram anything down anybody's throat. I don't give a shit if you get the information from me or not. I don't particularly care. I only care that the truth is uncovered, and I'll share it the best way I can. And sometimes those concepts take a little bit of time, and I would ask patience and forgiveness on my lack of ability to say it. Well, I could say it very quickly. 2 + 2 = 4. But you didn't understand that the question had nothing to do with the answer, right? And that's generally what happens, eh? The questions we ask generally have an answer we're not expecting, and that's kind of where I've been living for quite a while, the unexpected. And again, I'm still waiting for Miranda here. I think she had to download another version of Skype. Don't worry, we've got plenty of time to get her on, and that's when I want to get into the Cain and Abel story as it unfolded in my mind today as I wrote out the Skype. So, Tony.
Sorry about that. I was typing away. What you got?
I kind of figured you were. I put, ladies and gentlemen, I put Tony to sleep every time because he knows I get on a nap, and he goes off and does this. I'm kidding.
You caught him napping, Kate. That's not good.
No, I do that all the time for Tony. You know what? Tony, I got to tell you, man, right now it is 20 minutes after midnight, and I know Tony goes to bed at 3 or 4 on average a.m. in the morning, and I'm sure he's probably up at the crack of dawn again. So, Tony, well, I can't say I don't know how you do it because I know how you do it, and Peter, I'm sure you're the same way. All hours of the morning, get up at the crack of dawn. So it's with gratitude. So, if you ever feel a need to sleep during the show, Tony, totally okay. I got it. Not blame it on the mute. What are your? Oh, please. I'm a bitch. Yes, I know. What are your thoughts?
To be honest, I've got to be truthful. I was typing a text into the Freedom Range chat room, and I wasn't actually listening to the last bit of the information. So, if you can give me the information again, that would be really helpful.
Oh yeah, well, we're just basically talking about how to chainsaw the system and the overall awakening of trying to get these that are asleep to get them awake, and how it may seem like we're being malicious. We're not. We're at that point now, and everyone can feel it.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, here's my take on that. Right. We all know that's the reason I put the book there. And the simple thing is, if you can explain to people that the box that they're living in is way, way, way smaller than they actually think it is, and things like space travel, interstellar travel, teleportation, force fields, tractor beams, free energy technology. We don't need money. We don't need this construct bullshit anymore. In fact, we're living on a planet where we've been forced nose into the gutter to pay for everything, including water. I mean, it's our divine right to be on this planet. The construct is the thing that's forcing our face into the gutter and saying, you will pay us more, you will suffer and you will do without to give us your money, which is all a bloody part of the construct anyway. So the sooner the people get the bigger part of the information, then we can come back and look at the little bits like, the law, the legal system, this construct, that construct, the money, the job scenario. Shit, just making marijuana legal could have entirely solved this financial crisis. There you go, job done. I don't need a shitload of politicians to quibble and just feed me a load of bullshit for the next 2 years while we get deeper and deeper and deeper into the crowd. I know the way out. I know the flipping solutions. The point is, we've got to get everybody else out there to understand the solutions. And that's what we're here trying to do. We've got the solutions, guys. We know what the problems are. We know who's responsible. We know where it goes up the tree. And we're out here trying to do the best that we can do in order to get you the information to empower you, the listeners, so that you can do it as well. And that's pretty much in a nutshell what my opinion is.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm listening. I had to unmute. Sorry, I was just here. Miranda, if you are on the page, if you could type to. I just want a couple of things I want to clarify with you, just to make sure you understand what I'm typing to you. This is a problem with typing most of the time, is people misconstrue what is actually being said. But just bear with me for a second, folks. When you go to the page, and if you try to log in, Miranda, can you hear me first off? Type that you can hear me, and then I'll come back and walk you through this to get you on, because we need to hear from you tonight. There's a lot of information you have that needs to be shared. Lots of very interesting information that I think needs to be heard. Oh, there she's typing now. Anyway, okay, she can hear me. Here we go. What I need you to do is, in your Skype, if you right-click the BTR host number, whatever it is, you just have to hide the conversation. It's right at the very bottom to get rid of it, because sometimes it'll create a conflict. Okay? So you have to get rid of those. I do it every time with a BTR host 1 or BTR host 2, depending on what comes up. Because if I have that on there, it kind of confuses Skype. I don't know what happens, but I'm just clear your board kind of thing. Then hit the Skype button again, and that should bring you on the board, because I'm keeping my eyes like a hawk on it right now. Get what I mean? If you don't, just tell me and I'll explain it again. No problem. Anyway, Peter, I wanted to go a bit further on that thing, the notice that was sent out today, as far as how we're really rattling their cage and they're talking about everyone. Oh, okay. Hang on a sec. We'll get going here. As soon as I press,
okay.
She loses us completely. It will reroute you. Yes, it will reroute you. What you'll probably have to do is minimize your main browser page, because sometimes the click to talk comes up behind it. I don't know what the hell causes this, but it drove me nuts the first few times I was doing this. And I'm trying to get on and it's not there. I'm not hearing anything. So as soon as you click on the Skype button, minimize your web page. The main one you're looking at with the radio show on it, and it's this little box that should be right on your desktop. So you want to get rid of everything to the desktop, and you'll see it. So, are we patient radio hosts or what? Hey?
We're outstanding.
Outstanding in the cold, actually. It's freaking cold out here. I'm outside. It's beautiful, though.
Yeah.
That's where I'd rather be, outside. I love being outside.
I got to go out on the porch every now and then just to make sure the cats are all good and my cigarettes haven't left the table.
There you go.
Them cats like to smoke without me out there,
That's a cool cat.
Yeah, no kidding.
They're cool. Yeah, they're cool. Yeah, they're cool cats. All right, they're killing me.
So what you're saying is you don't leave your beer lying around outside either. Okay, that's a good thing.
Yeah, right.
And there's certainly, I'm not leaving any flower top lying around for any. Well, actually, if they want to help themselves, by all means. A little bit of enlightening does every animal good. Mostly humans, actually. That's what. Hey, it's not what I hear; it's what I know. It's we got talking about a bit about that today. This morning on Awake Radio, we had Sun from SunTempleTrust.com on with us, and Chief Justice Kevin Middleton for the Divine Universal Law, and we got into a couple of things. And one of the concepts I wanted to carry across tonight, seeing as we're on this, because Tony, Peter, I think you guys can agree that what we have to do here is not so much of what you're serving into courts and anything else. It's about fixing your bloody status.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So, okay, she's still having issues. BTR. Now, can you, Miranda? Can you remove the BTR 06 or BTR listener 067? You have to hide the conversation in your contacts. So you're going to go over to your contacts where you see it now that it's not there, and hide the conversation, and then try it again. It can be an absolute pain in the ass. I've had to try 3 and 4 times to get on. Anything you can help with there, Tony?
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, because I'm just wondering if maybe if you want to jump out of this and give Miranda a quick call and just kind of explain to her Oh, hey, no problem, love. Like I said, we're the kinder, gentler, rip you a brand new one hosts.
All right, you take the wheel. I'll go and do it.
Okay, I've got Peter and I'll take care of the world. How's that?
Okay.
Peter, Yen?
We got it.
I knew it. Okay. We were talking about hemp paper being the living paper, right? Cotton paper, cotton bond is the paper of slaves, because who picked the cotton? And I'm going back to the coincidences of Larkin Rose, his video said, but who will pick the cotton? And then I was talking with Cindy yesterday, and I gave her my songs, and I said, she's from the South, and she'd mentioned Baton Rouge, and I thought, oh, she's got to hear By a Lullaby. She'll love that. She's a Southern girl. So am I. It's all good. So she starts listening to it, and then one of the lines in it, like a cotton field laying fallen by the wind, which is, for me, was symbolic of that's taken the slavery down, you know? And then these are all the pieces that fell into place over the last 24 hours. And what came to mind was with knowing that, yes, everything that is on this earth, I'm talking you people that are talking, everything is derived in terms of on the land is derived from plant life, okay? Because fish weren't the first things swimming around. There was algae and there was fungus and all these, you know, single-celled organisms, hydras, parameciums, et cetera, right? And when you understand the Mayan 9 levels of creation, you start understanding that the single cells start gathering together into groups of cells, and then they go into higher organisms, and so on, as life evolves itself. And of course, with cannabis, which is the tree of life itself, that gives everything. And I'm going to get you, Peter, to give a little background, because I know some people have heard this before, but we do get a lot of new listeners all the time, and I want them to get this truth. Give me maybe a 5-minute or so snapshot of the health benefits of cannabis as you understand it, being of the former medical, well, I wouldn't say establishment, but of that viewpoint. You've never been establishment, I know that.
Well, yeah, after extensive research years ago, you know, I guess we have some music in the background. I get some easy listening movie with music with Fred Astaire.
It's not me. Is that on your end?
That's not me.
Okay.
I shut down my YouTube.
Okay.
All right. Who's maybe that's the nefarious one showing us some love. I don't know.
I've only got one window open.
Well, it's not. I'm telling you, it's not me. It's bizarre. Yeah, Karina's going groovy cool.
You, Tony?
All right. It just gets a little bit more bizarre as we go.
Oh my God! Anyway, it was on Tony's end. I'll bring him back in when. I guess we're on hold with the mighty Tony. But anyway, there you go. Sorry, carry on.
Anyways, hemp, folks. For those of you who don't know, it was marginalized back in the 1930s by the Rockefellers funding the whole movement. For those old biddies wanting to say, they're all going to rot in hell, and it was about the reefer madness. So what they did was they painted a different slant on it, in a negative, which that's what their masters are doing. So, gee, we can't have nobody smoking the herb, because we got to control everything because we're control freaks. But anyways, as far as hemp in itself, whether commercially grown, has incredible medical capacities on multiple levels. It is nutritionally one of the most dense protein sources. For those of you who are vegetarians, that's real good. Matter of fact, hempusa.org is a site y'all can go to. I'm gonna throw them a little love because their products are excellent. I get their 5-pound buckets and I twist it up with my orange juice and all that, and my body gets real happy because all the cells are operating in the proper capacity. Extremely nutritionally dense as far as on multiple levels, as far as enzymes, making the body run right. but they had to go ahead and twist it sideways, and primarily for the hallucinogenic. But it's still hemp oil, hemp seeds, all the parts of the hemp plant have extremely effective medical uses on multiple levels. But anyways, they could have been crushing hemp plants to basically make hemp oil to create actually a fuel source, so we didn't have to tap into Mother Earth. But Big Oil, being the whores that they are, said, no, we're going to shut this game down. And here we are. USA Inc. is the only, pretty much the worst as far as dictates throughout the world. My brother down in Costa Rica, he grows his own. Hey, Tim, how you doing? I think he's listening. Oh, yeah, they're going to come looking for you now.
That's it.
He's not a USA Inc., but we talk about sitting around the volcano and eating our brownies, and I said, I'll bring the milk and the Coronas, and he said, okay, we can do that. But anyways, folks, I mean, what's that, Kate?
You were breaking up. You've been breaking up a little bit here and there, so I'm just making you aware of it. Get your energy up, and then it's block these NSA goons, because they need to hear this truth as much as we need to give it to them. Yeah,
well, it's got more nutritional based enzymes and stuff in it, effective. If you want your education, folks, matter of fact, go to hempusa.org. They have extremely effective educational overviews, so you can get a history lesson just like I sort of got mine. I knew there was something amiss. I always knew there was something amiss, and these people get excited over everything. Yeah, that's why they don't like all natural salt. That's why they don't like sodium bicarbonate, which is very makes your body oxygen rich. I take mine every day with my crushed released minerals from my all natural salt, and makes the synapse and the electromagnetic therapy in my body go real good, so I can actually think straight. As well as you got food grade hydrogen peroxide, which also makes the body oxygen rich. You've got Laetril, which is called B17. And, yeah, folks, I have access to all these sources, even though they have Codex Alimentarius, which is their scumbags in the UN trying to say, oh, they can't have this good stuff. If they're going to get it, you got to buy it through us. You know what? Kiss my rosy red ass. I ain't buying shit through these clowns no more, and they ain't stopping nothing. They think they are. Like I said, they haven't got the memo yet. So, anyways, this is a beauty, though. Hemp has a very viable, it's a very viable alternative for the masses, but they don't want you reading nothing, and they sure as hell they definitely don't want you smoking it. I mean, I don't smoke it no more, but anyways, that was a 70 zero, but I mean, I do take hemp products for that's not THC based, and it still has extremely nutritional value, and that's what I use for me. So, folks, like I say, you got to go out, you got to actually read stuff. You know what? They've sold you the bull crap. Alcohol causes more deaths than everything by far than anything else, and as long as we can tax the crap out of it, make some money off it, and help people get dead in the head because it kills the good cells, alcohol is considered a poison to the body, whereas hemp's never been considered a poison to the body. Matter of fact, coca leaves in their natural state are extremely effective for the body. So, folks, we need to start getting coca leaves in America, too, because you can make tea out of it. It's not like snorting cocaine, folks. It has dense nutrient-based magnesium, potassium, other the folks that work up in the Andes and stuff, they're not snorting the crap, folks. They chew on the leaves and they can go all day, and it's not causing their bodies to collapse or go down. I mean, it's all natural. Anything that's all natural state actually has positive effects on the body. What they've done is they condensed it into a chemical process, and snorting it's bad for you. I've been to matter of fact, I used to go to the Coke parties back in the 70s, and they say, hide the shit, here comes Pete, because I did have a bigger nose than most, so they really didn't want to share with me. Anyways, I don't snort the stuff, but like I say, anything in its natural state, folks, has extreme effective medical capacities, and you just got to do a little homework and find out some truth for yourself. I mean, folks, the internet is a plethora of excellent information. Google it, do whatever. I mean, I'm not making any of this stuff up.
No, you're not. Actually, good timing, because I keep getting bumped out of the room here. I don't know if you've been noticing or not, but anyway. I'm not sure if it's on my end that you're breaking up a little bit, but you were breaking up. You got most of the information out that I could hear. There's something else about the cocoa leaves. be talking about, children because they're hungry or walking around chewing on cocoa leaves to, ease the pain of the hunger. Well, I doubt it, because we're dealing with highly nutritious food here. And again, anything that the system is putting out in terms of a media sales pitch, you can pretty much rest assured that it's going to be 180 degrees from the truth. So that's where we need to kind of get into the habit of doing our own due diligence, because listen, have a look around you. How many lives have the schools and the churches and the governments and everyone else, the courts, the system, how many lives have the bank? How many lies have the preachers of they're forced on religiocosis? How many lies have they told you? And that's going to use that as my little segue into the Cain and Abel story, which I don't think if you weren't watching in the room today, you wouldn't have heard of, Peter, or read it rather. So right. I'm going to share with you guys the little epiphany I had earlier. And again, you guys can call in, you can Skype in through the page you're listening on Freedom Reigns Blog Talk Radio, or you can call in at area code 714-868-0749. We would love to hear from you. Still not, Miranda, if there's anything else I can do, hon. Oops, I've got Tony muted. I just want to make sure, I got to get him back on here. Because I thought he was going to go off and call Miranda. Tony, are you there?
Yeah, I'm already on it. I'm trying to talk her through through the text box because while I've got one window up, it won't open up another call for some other reason. So we're doing it. We're getting there. Okay,
I was going to say, because if you wanted, you could actually just log out of the call her, and then call right back in again. It's up to you. No, that's no problem. So I'm putting your mic live again here. There was music going on. I wasn't sure where it was coming from. It turned out it was on your end. So it was actually really nice music. Thank you. It was a beautiful interlude. Nice introduction from Peter. But so I'll leave your mic hot. You can mute it on your end. Okay. So let's get into Cain and Abel here. I muted myself. Of course I haven't. Now we're just going to pull up the document that I had. There it is. That I had stored some of this information on. But, and I'm looking back over Bill Donahue's work and Santos Bonacci and my own and so many others, but I mean, Santos and Bill are the first ones that come to mind in their own revelations of ripping the Bible open for the truths that are contained within it, the hidden truths, and boy, I can dig in, but these guys just, they showed up with backhoes. And it brought a lot more clarity, a lot more light to what it was I was uncovering. And here's a little twist on the Cain and Abel story that I haven't heard yet. So I'm kind of going to bring my own version to it here. And here was the vibe I got today. And as everyone that has been listening to me for a while, while the voice might sound a little deep, they know I'm a two-spirit. So for those that don't know what a two-spirit is, I'm a male-to-female transgender, transsexual. As I like to tell people, voice is lower than boobs would indicate. Don't worry, you'll get over me. I did. Almost. Anyway. So here we go. So here's a two-spirit perspective on my take on the Cain and Abel story to a new level, or a different one, a different perspective. Okay, here's the thing. The story of Cain and Abel, for me, it wasn't about two brothers. Cain was a boy and Abel was a girl, which she was brethren, not brother. There's a difference. And the thing that
yeah, it looks like they're banging your brakes off, Kate.
They picking me up, are they?
Yep.
Oh, what are the odds? Okay, I'll go sentence at a time, and if there's any issues, just jump in, okay?
Yep.
So here it is. Cain was a boy. Abel was a... Of the left hand...
Pathetic. That's better.
Man, I hate this. You know what I should do is call in with my other Skype onto the board and see if that'll work any better. Do you want to carry the fort for a second here, Peter?
Sure. I was going to share. I can share on anything. Yeah. Well, I can.
Go ahead.
I feel like talking about bonds a little bit, anyways.
Go ahead, do your thing, and I'm going to log in with my other Skype, and I'm going to call into the board that way. Okay? So carry on.
Yep. Sure. Yeah, folks. We've been covering over the last couple of weeks issues in reference to. Because the system is so stone cold broke, they're so fearful that everybody wants to be free and unencumbered that they actually have to create a new scam to go after the masses and hypothecate some more funds. If you don't understand what hypothecation is, that's simply the transfer of your signature on a document so that they can multiply times 9, because it's been a false money system since the beginning of time, since they started this paper fiat currency. Pretty much started in 1933 in a big way. That's when they started with the birth certificate bonds to get a gain. So what they did was they created a way to capture the bond, capture the child. Mama didn't have a clue because she gave over the child basically as under her maiden name. Daddy wasn't a party to it. They separated him on the paper. Matter of fact, if nobody's seen my birth certificate, it shows it with total clarity. Anyways, very interesting. So the child becomes like a bastard because it's born in a state hospital, and then they put in the claim. That's how they create the birth certificate bond. It's on beautiful bond paper. It's got red digits on it. Mine does. Pretty much that's the way they all them. They put them down at 55 Water Street, and then as we come up in the system, they get us to get a Social Security number so they can tie into the nexus as a U.S. citizen slave and complete the circuit under the SESQV trust. That's what it is. They're putting in claims. They have salvage bonds and all this other stuff, so they can plunder your pirate ship as you go, because they have no money of substance. It's just money. It's basically money of account. So they classify every action you take on paper. That's why they want you to do direct deposit. So if you are doing direct deposit, let's say it's $1,000 a week going into the account, they can hypothecate it to the tune of 9 times. It's a funny money system. That's why they have derivatives. If anybody hasn't seen any of Ann Bancroft's videos, which are incredibly good, I think we have posted over at WordPress, WordMind, not sure. But anyways, folks, it literally is, it's the craziest insanity ever seen. They create everything out of thin air. You're hypothecating the hell out of your life with your sin, your /signature, because they've got you classified as a decedent, a corporation, under subsection 3002. It's on a beautiful 14-page PDF we have over at privatist.me, and you can find that on the education page. It's privatis.me. So if you haven't been to our site, folks, yeah, you want some real education? That's a real good starting point. If you haven't got the memos, then you can start at the beginning. We make it pretty easy to follow. If you haven't watched Changes on the Horizon Part 2, that's a real good start, too, because they actually give you the overview of the banking system in 1 hour's time. They take you on this beautiful wild ride. They'll give you total clarity on a different capacity, because if you don't know you've been duped your entire life, it's hard to believe you've been duped until somebody pulls back the curtain and says, well, that's incorrect, that's incorrect, that's incorrect. So now we've come to this point here in 2012, and the masters of the plantation are getting a little scared. They're getting nervous because sheep are waking up, and they're not sheep anymore. So anyways, so what they've done is create new chasms within the world under the guise, and they were saying this 3 years ago. Folks, I've been watching this for years, and it's all just unfolded, and they've been saying for years. They're going to basically reclassify Americans and make them the enemy. It all started with Al-Qaeda, and they switched gears. Now it's never been about Al-Qaeda, folks. That's a CIA operation. That's a big scam. It's all been a big scam, just like Iraq, just like Iran, just like now what they're trying to do to Iran, what they've done to Libya. It's the IMF, the banker control whores, wanting to control everybody. So what they do is, under the guise of protectionism, they go after these other countries, kill millions of their folks. And it's an insane train, but it's a true train. If you're not willing to get on and follow the bouncing ball, then you won't be waking up. But the reason they went after Iran, it wasn't because they bombed the World Trade Centers. It was because they wouldn't hypothecate in Federal Reserve notes. Folks, you can't make it up. I'm telling you, it's insane. Then they mule all this heroin from overseas, from Afghanistan. Hell, there's nothing new. They've been doing this garbage even in Vietnam. They were bringing the heroin over there. You got CIA operative scumbags muling cocaine from Colombia, all these other places. They're all in bed together. You think Fast and Furious was a little tidbit? That's nothing. They're doing it on a grand scale between the drugs and everything else, because they got to have more bodies to throw into the incarceration motel so they can hypothecate more funds for the system to keep and stay online, because they're losing their grip. The game's about over. They're not going to be able to do it much more longer, folks. So now we had to create a new chasm. So we got a bunch of people to sign up for becoming successionists to the USA Inc. Well, folks, that makes you a belligerent under the NDAA Act. If you don't know what that is, pull it up on your computer and go read it. I read it. Anyways, this happened January 1st of 2012. They brought that in. And now they want to go ahead and really claim everything on your computer so we can spy on you and find something that we can charge you with, because it's all about charge, discharge. It's all about hypothecation. Doesn't matter whether it's civil or criminal, folks. It's just a scam. They just got to get the money. It's about the bonds.
Peter, it looks like I'm guessing that we might have Patrice on the line. Area code 401, is that you, Patrice? Oh, and Santos just showed up. Area code 401-580. Hello. Okay, I'll try another one here. I'll put that one back on hold. It looks like Patrice's number. Anyway, I'll try again in a minute or so. Okay, area code 318-573. Making your mic hot there. Questions? Questions or comments?
No, this is Chris.
Oh, Chris, how you doing?
Good, man. Sorry, I'm a little girl on the...
That's okay. We don't mind. It's all good.
Hey, I'm glad to finally call in and talk to you guys. I'm a dedicated fan since I've come across Santos a year ago.
Well, he just showed up in the room same time you did, so you got Santo in the room. Hello, Santo. You can say hi to Chris.
Howdy, guys. Howdy, Chris.
Oh, man. How are you?
Great.
Hey, I could ask you guys a million questions, but one thing I do want to ask is, do you guys remember an incident in 2007 when supposedly a B-52 in South Dakota was headed to Barstow Air Force Base in Louisiana?
Yeah, the same Air Force Base where they lost the nukes?
Yep.
Yeah, very familiar.
You guys, I heard an interview on Vinny Eastwood last week, and one of the guys said, do you know that there's 3 missing nukes? Most people don't know this. And as soon as he said that, I was like, oh, my God, I wonder if that's actually what happened. So any comments on that?
Well, yeah, it's the same deal with the Kursk, the Russian submarine that went down. They pulled off. There's 3 missing, or I think 6 missing, actually, nuclear warheads that went missing from that. But as soon as we get Tony back on the line, he'll give you a pretty good overview of why they can't use them. You see, nuclear weapons can only be used at certain times based on alignments. And I'll get Tony to get into that one a bit heavier. But
sure.
Yeah, go ahead, Tony.
Yeah, there's a very important video out there, and you need to listen to the information on the video in order for it to make sense to you. But the fact of the matter is we're living in a harmonic universe, not a Newtonian universe, which is what we've been taught. Now, what I'm basically saying is, if you line up the sun, the planets, and then put in between the connection between the suns and the planets at a specific point along that line and set off a nuclear device, it will work So in other words, it's got to be positioned in alignment with the stars in order to draw the energy from the universe in order to explode. So all of the stuff that they've told you about having ICBMs, intercontinental ballistic missiles, flying all over the place willy-nilly and blowing up, is, guess what, folks? It's a complete lie. News that, isn't it? And the video that you need to see is Bruce Caffey's harmonic code.
So these
what? Harmonic what?
Come again, Pete?
I didn't catch it because the baby was making noise.
Y'all can mute me, man. I'll just listen. Y'all go ahead.
Okay, Chris, I'll bring you back in again. No problem. No harm, no foul. We love the sound of children. Trust me. I do anyway. That's me.
Yeah.
Okay. No, I know. It's all good.
All right, much love.
Much love. Go ahead.
Okay, so just to recap on that, as I just explained, I know it's huge for a lot of people who don't already know this stuff. We're living in a harmonic universe. The ICBM sales pitch that they've sold everybody is that intercontinental ballistic missiles can go off all over the world and explode willy-nilly. It's bullshit. It's not correct. It's wrong.
Yeah, the nuclear threat is not a threat at all. It's all been sold as such to keep everyone in fear, thinking there would be, intercontinental ballistic warfare where we wipe ourselves out. Unfortunately for these guys, that's not going to happen. Very, very specific harmonics.
And what we do obviously need to point out, that leads to one thing. And the one thing that leads to is all of these have been pre-planned, agreed, planned, plotted out, times, astral charts, everything's been pre-done in order to make the single explosions. And each explosion has been already put into place. So what we're saying is they're doing it deliberately. They're doing it exactly as they want to do it, and everything's set up exactly as they want it. So in other words, the whole world is but a stage. They're just selling you the bullshit lie. Okay? Very important. The people that are running this place are doing all of this. Industrial military complex, anyone? So never mind, get over World War I was a ploy, get over World War II, get over 9/11, 7/7, all that crap. They're done deliberately. All of it.
Yep.
All of them.
Gulf of Tonkin. Yeah, I talked about that a little bit about Admiral McNamara coming off the dime and saying we bombed our own shit. Hey, go figure. Yeah, it's been agent provocateur crap from the very beginning. There's nothing new in Rome, folks.
Yeah, nothing new under the sun. And Tony, why don't you share with the good listeners the real reason why they invaded Iraq and they want to invade Iran? Might be something to do with, I don't know, technologies?
Oh, yeah, just a bit. Iran is ancient, well, it's the ancient area of Mesopotamia. Basically, now this is really going to go a bit woo-woo for people that are not aware of this, but we have, all right, people understand that we have energy grids running through the earth. We call them ley lines. Now, the reality is, these ley lines are much, much, much more important than anybody's told us because they're sacred geometry. They're energy grids. They're like our energy meridian throughout our body. The Earth has them. The Earth is a living, growing entity in itself. We are the Earth's consciousness. But without going down that road, underneath the ground there are these energy ley lines. Now, what actually happens at specific points on the globe, what you've got is basically a Merkaba, which is a tetrahedron. If you want to know what that is, look at the Israeli flag. You'll see it in 2 dimensions, not in 3 dimensions. I'm just going on the fly there, hoping that people can draw out the picture of the flag and see the geometric shape. But where these points touch the surface of the Earth, and this is where it gets wobbly, for people to understand, they're going to go, holy cow, you're kidding me. One is at the north. If you imagine the triangle pointing upwards is the North Pole. The intersecting triangle pointing downwards is the South Pole. And where all the other points, and there's 3 on each triangle, meet, there are areas whereby the energy is absolutely incredible. There are underground stargates all over the planet. This is, again, is massively hidden stuff. Saddam Hussein was going to go public with all of the Sumerian seal tablets explaining who we are, how we got here, where we came from, and much, much, much more. The very first place when they went into Iraq, they went straight for the museums. It wasn't the bank. They went straight into the museums, and they took all of the antiquities that Saddam Hussein was hiding and was going to make public. Saddam understood himself to be the second reincarnation of Nebuchadnezzar, and he was going to expose to the world the information that had been hidden from the human race for centuries. So there's many different aspects here, not just the money, it's not just the opium, it's not just the arms, it's not just the land grab, which is also another element. There's many different aspects to all of these things, why they happen, how they happen, and what it's all about. So there's a lot of big pills there for people to swallow, so I'll just leave it there for now.
That's why, Tony, isn't it why they went to the museum first when they first invaded Iraq? That's a fact.
Yeah, absolutely. Totally.
They raided the museum there, man, because should humanity know exactly what kind of artifacts are being hidden from our vision, so to speak, should we realize that we are, man, I mean, this planet has hosted many, many races of advanced beings. Walter Russell, in his books, talks about the countless races that this Earth has been producing for eons and eons of time. And we're just one of those races. And we've been taught by a coven of witches that run this planet. And mostly it's churchianity. Christianity is a big part of it. Believe you me, it's the church of the devil. It's the church of the pits. It's the blackest, killingest, pedophilingest entity that's ever existed. And this coven of witches want us to believe that we've only been here for 6,000 years since God made Adam and Eve, literally. And they want us to believe in this linear historical paradigm that they've concocted pulled it out of their asses, basically. They can teach any kind of bullshit to the dumbed-down masses, and they'll swallow it. In the churches, they love it. Oh, God's gonna save us. No chance of doing anything for yourself. Stick with the Prozac and the Zoloft and the Xanax and keep drinking fluoridated water and chew on that aspartame sugar-free gum. No worries. Pump your body with Diet Coke. I think it's 2 on the pH scale, which means it's putrid acid and death dealing.
Absolutely.
Fat people just drinking by the gallon, you know. Yeah, should we discover these artifacts, and there's plenty of them, you know. You're spot on, Peter. They went there to stop the advancement of civilization. Iran is trying to do something similar. And so is North Korea, in fact. And so was Libya. Gaddafi was just trying to bring the concept of, you know, true dominion. Each one has their own money. Each one, you know, no one's going to steal your money in Libya. You will have your own real money, and it'll be real value behind it. And it'll be based on your word, and everyone's free, and everybody got housing and education, and it was all just free. And we can't have these beacons of light. Guys, we have been overtaken by a coven of witches, and they are the Bilderbergers. Bilderberg basically means the hills of good old Switzerland, the big rocks, where they've hidden, where they've gone to take refuge. You know, even the scriptures say they've gone up into the high mountains to take refuge because of their crimes, and that's where they run the show from, basically, man. Those banksters with their.
I was going to say, Santo, I get a different spin. I'm glad you showed up. Maybe that's why I was getting broken up there earlier. The right hemisphere of the brain is known as what? The feminine creative?
Yep.
Okay, left is... Right. And the left is masculine analytical, yeah?
Yep.
I'm just looking at the confirms of, what is commonly understood. I see the left brain as the Cain, left hemisphere, analytical, port side of the ship, and the right hemisphere is the feminine, creative, spiritual, starboard side of the ship, right?
Yep.
And that's Abel. So we have Cain and Abel. Now, in the Bible, Cain and Abel are brethren, yes?
Yes.
Okay, well, here's a new twist for you. Abel's a girl.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay, so Cain slew Abel. Why would Cain slay Abel? And here's a question that the Two-Spirit could have answered. Because Cain was the firstborn son, yes?
Yep.
The first child of the marriage of Adam and Eve. Let's talk about the giving birth of the first child. And that first child, created, of course, in love, was born with a couple of minor disabilities in terms of creation. One, it was male, which meant it could never procreate within itself. Okay, so it was always going to be subservient to the female if it ever wanted to create anything other than in the physical universe. So that was the trap. And two, that was the first original sin, which was that thing that cost us our immortality, because that which was created could never recreate itself by itself, because we all know that the female can procreate by herself, immaculate, or whatever you want to call it, divine, or, what's the word I'm looking for? You know what I'm saying.
Divine conception,
yeah.
immaculate conception. That's absolutely 100% true. Yes, because in fact, when we learnt as a race to procreate by spilling the seed, having the orgasm, that's when we fell from, we were practicing a much higher sublimated sex.
Exactly.
And we were not spilling the seed. No. We were not defiling the temple. And that is in fact what holy immaculate conception is. It's that kind of sex where you do not spill the seed, and women can do that. Yes. And the seed is passed through in that act if it is done properly.
Okay. So to carry this a bit further, so now we have Cain, who came to, the Lord thy God, a jealous God, came to its creator, okay, with, from the fields, what it grew, what Cain grew in the fields, and was looked down upon. And Abel showed up with the sheep, which were her children, and was looked down upon. Oh, my lovely child, look at you creating. And how do you think Cain felt, knowing that Cain was now separate from the Garden of Eden, had been separated from the Garden of Eden? That's where Osiris' phallus ended up, and that poor child. And I'm going to speak from the heart here. This is the divine dead and conquered. This is the original sin. This was our separation from creation, wherein man was created without the ability to procreate, where the creator of that entity did not relinquish their own right to creation. So it was not a complete act of love. You can call it whatever you want. A true act of love is one of sacrifice for the other. That is service to the other, and that's what we lost. That is the fall that we had, because Cain is the representation of our mortality, where that part of us was removed. And you want to talk about the XX and the XY chromosome? X is the symbol of life, chi. It's the Greek letter chi. So you have life and life in the feminine, and for the male it's the X and the Y, which you can call the Y the tree of life, but that is actually the X. The Y is the X with one of the ribs broken off in the genetics. So if you want to talk about the tree of life, this is where the war in heaven is. It is that war of divided and conquered, and we were divided and conquered right at the chromosomic level. So what we did as a species, and this is why I'm speaking from the two-spirit, the male and female, the neutral, standing right down the middle, where here I am, for me, the most, within me, the purest feminine essence you can imagine, trapped inside something that I cannot create with. You want to talk about, I'm going to be blunt, you want to talk about fucking frustration and living in a prison for your life? I kind of get the idea why Cain might have been a little bit upset about it. Because Cain created the way he was a complete abomination of creation because it was mortality manifest in the physical. How am I doing so far?
Yep. Yeah, great.
Is that working?
Music to my ears. You've just reminded me about, I interviewed Matt Presti and Robert O'Tay. And
great interview last night. That was an amazing interview. Thank you for that.
That was the best interview I have ever participated in my life. Not because I haven't done great interviews. I've had the best. But, but
that was top shelf, buddy. No,
Yep.
I wish I was holding that one, my friend.
Yeah, folks, please go to American Freedom Radio, grab the archive, listen to Matt Presti and Robert O'Tay, because this is how we must advance as a race. We must not leave the causal creator out of the equation. And many guys are doing it, and they're failing. We must include the creator. Mind created the matter. Not everything is an effect of the matter. You see, science teaches us that the mind is an effect of matter. Wrong. It's the other way around. Unless we get this right, we can't advance. So I recommend, please, to listen to that one, and I'm going to have them on Syncretism Blog Talk Radio, my show on the Sunday evening. What time is that there, Kate?
Your show here?
Yeah.
Oh, on Sunday it's 7 to 9 Eastern Standard Time. Are you going to bring them on for that show?
Yes. Yep. They're on.
Oh, I love it. I got the board that night. I want to be sitting up close and personal. I just want to be sitting right there with you.
Yep. Please.
Okay.
Please. But we're not going to interrupt them. Let them talk. Listen to this, guys. Listen to these guys, because everything we do must be based in reality and truth and good science that hasn't been effed up by academia, because that's all they do. They go around butchering it. They've destroyed it. They're idiots. They're morons. And these guys are teaching the best Russellian science on the planet. And everything we do must be based on science, not hocus pocus, statutes and maritime law and fictional churches, and no more fictions. We've had enough. Fiction equals fear. And fear has been destroying us, and we've got to lose the fictions.
Well, I totally agree, and absolutely, these guys have got to be allowed to let rip. I mean, they brought a lot of. I got to tell you, Matt had me when he said, "I've got about 100 songs up on my site. Download them. That's why I put them there." That's where he had me, because it's exactly where my heart is. He knows what creation is, and he put it forth willingly and freely. See, that's the thing. Now, that to me is someone stepping into their feminine creative, because those songs are his children, just like yours are yours and mine are mine. Right? We create the only way we can to manifest that is being the creator. That's why when we talk of the music aspects and the dancing and the art and whatever you do as a creator in the physical manifest, because and I'm going to speak on to the male aspect of the ability to procreate life. That is the only way that the male gender can procreate anything, by being the art and by being the flow of that. And we've talked about this many times as well, Santo, about getting in touch with that creative feminine essence, because that is the essence of creation. It is that desire to create and put out, to put forth.
Very pure.
Yeah, well, even if you think about it logically, which is going to interfere with the process, but just know that feminine energy exists. Does it not? Therefore, why are we in denial of it, or calling it evil, or sinister, or whatever other label, and understand that it's...
Santo, the true evil was part of our essence being ripped away from that feminine energy. That's what I'm talking about, physical divisiveness, and I'm putting my suspicions right back to Atlantis, in that the Elohim that came here, the neutrals, were tricked with and this is just what came to me tonight, or today, this afternoon. We're literally tricked into drinking from the cup of forgetfulness, and literally based on the sciences that were being corrupted at the time, energy, electromagnetics and whatever, literally altering the DNA to either, add appendages to these sexless beings to bring them into the sin of the flesh. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
This. I mean, there's a big panorama unfolding in my head, and I'm going to be downloading ship piles tonight. I know it. I'm feeling it coming on. And we're getting to the nitty-gritty here. You nailed it right there, because there is feminine energy, and what has been denied is the sheer essence of that feminine in the masculine being physically, from a creative viewpoint, removed. And what we're doing is fighting to get it back. That's what the war is.
Yeah, for sure.
Logically, or this is intuitive. This is not. I'm not going to try to rationalize this. This is the pure intuitive desire to create, and that's what the feminine energy is. It's that pure creation void. And how dare anything take the away from another? Of saying, well, it's very easy for someone to stand there and say, you'll never know what it feels like to have a child within you. And well, thanks for reminding me. No, really. Do you know what I'm saying? And I can understand where that separation occurred with Cain and Abel, and what a perfect analogy when you take it right down to the nitty-gritty, that of course Cain was jealous because he had been removed from the Garden of Eden. His feminine energy, his ability of that pure, in the physical sense, creation, to be the cause over the effect of matter, was removed. That's the original sin. I'll put my $5 on that one.
Yeah, there's many applications to the fall. It's not just to be taken. Nothing ever in Scripture is to be taken on one level, folks. It's not. It's not like that. These are very special writings. These are called, as Manly P. Hall says, they must be encoded on 7 levels. They can go up to 7 levels of meaning to be considered holy scriptures. Otherwise, they're just ordinary writings. It's like a song. Okay, all right. Let's grab some of the songs in the 70s. "Horse with No Name" by America.
Yep.
Referring to a heroin trip. Was that correct?
Yes, it was.
Yeah. So there you go. You've got 2 levels. You've got the painted tapestry that you're painting, just that looks the obvious literal rendition of the writing, and most people listening to that song would say, "Oh, it's a nice, pretty song about a horse. How sweet!" But it was encoded with a very powerful secret message about what it's like to be on heroin, and you're going through the desert and on a horse with no name, etc. So, but only the ones who have had their eyes opened to these experiences and know what they're talking about will get it, right? So the scriptures, this is why syncretism is so important, because we're considering fairy tales to be false. We're considering myths to be false in this Roman world that we live in, and they're not. They're all different levels of the same teaching. And so, and that application that you just applied to Cain and Abel is one of those levels. It must be biochemical. There must be a biochemical level in there, because obviously the Bible must be about you. The Holy Scriptures are always about you and how you relate to the universe as above. And so it will have the astronomical level, and I've shown that in my presentations heaps, how the astronomical level is very, very important here. We need to know who the characters are. Who's the Apostle Paul? Well, that's Apollo. Apollo is Saturn, the dark sun. Peter is Jupiter. Magdalene is Mary, the moon. And then when you open your eyes to that level, the mythological level, then you get the true meaning of the Scriptures. And only those with eyes that can see.
Can I bring the astrology in to what I just described, Cain and Abel? This one I know you're going to rock on, Santo, so I'll launch it and you take it into orbit, okay? Okay, we have Hermes and Venus, which are Mercury and Venus, rather, which are Hermes and Aphrodite in the mythology representations. Hermes is wisdom and Aphrodite is love, yeah? So we have the relationship of Mercury and Venus, which are the closest to the sun, or the mind, okay, the solar mind. Yet when you look through history, who are the relationships with? Venus and Mars are always painted together. So what is Mars? Mars is the god of war. So there is the Lord thy God is a jealous God, and then you have Saturn overlooking all of this as well. And what comes in between Venus and Mars is Earth. Right? So there's another few layers on that one as well. What do you think of that one, Santo?
Mars and Venus are none other than Adam and Eve. Just put a little E before the word Venus, and you immediately see that Eve is hiding there. And Adam, what does that mean? It means red. And when you look up to good old Mars on a nice, shiny night, you will see that Mars is floating through the sky, flying through the sky, and he's very red. There's only 4 red entities, orbs, in the skies. 4 are stars, and 2 are the wanderers, Saturn and Mars. And that's it. So, if it isn't Adam, and if Eve isn't Venus, and see, when you understand these things, then you understand the Scriptures. See, the first day of creation, God says, "Let there be light." Well, look at the 7 days of the week, and you will see the 7 days of creation standing out like dogs' genitalia. The first day of the week is Sunday. You see, we've been led to believe that it's Monday because we go off to work on the first day of the week. No, it's Sunday. Get your astrotheology, get all your sciences corrected, and then understand that the first day of the week is Sunday. The second day is the moon. So, the last day, God creates Eve. Well, that'd be the 6th day, rather. The 6th day, God creates Eve. Well, that would be Venus. Because Friday is the 6th day of the week, you see. And so he created Eve, and there was evening and there was morning, and God saw that his creation was good, and so he rested on the 7th day. That's Saturday, the Sabbath. And that's why the Jews still rest on that day, because God does. Because that's how the creation works. That's how the week unfolds. The first day is the day of light. Then comes the moon, and then God separates the waters above and the waters below. Then come Mars. Then Tuesday is Mars, and Mars is hot and dry. And so dry land appears. Then Mercury in the middle of the week. Mercury has always been known to rule seed. There the Scripture is talking about seed. Then Jupiter turns up. Day 5. Well, Jupiter is the man of all men. He's the one that goes around raping all the other planets, Ganymede, Hera, etc., Europa. And so that's talking about the boy that now turns up in the Garden of Eden. And then, of course, who better to accompany Eve, I know Mars normally is with Mars and Venus, but in this case, Jupiter is right there next door. And then the next thing, the sixth day, God creates Eve in the Garden of Eden. There it is. It's all in the days of the week. Now, you'll notice that the days of creation are just about perfectly to that order, but they don't exactly stick to that order in the middle. Mercury and Mars, you need to switch those around. But this is the thing about occult science. This is how they hide things. If you remember my graph, Kate, right, where you start at Aries on the left at the ascendant, then you go up to the Tropic of Cancer, right, and then you curve down back to the equator at Libra, right? Well, those also are the 6 days of creation. You see, let there be light happens in Aries in the morning.
Yep.
That's the first day, the first 2 hours of the day, Aries. And then over at Libra is the 7th sign, and that's where God says, and God rested. It's all there on cue. It's all there, hiding there under our noses.
Yeah, and the other thing too, with regards to our known past, Earth or Tiamat used to be in a different orbit. Earth wasn't here. Actually, Earth ended up in between Mars and Venus and destroyed that relationship because Mars used to be in that order. That's why things got topsy-turvied, okay? Because you've got the asteroid belt, which is the remnants of Tiamat, which is what we're on, Key Tiamat, moved out. And for those that don't know the history, you might want to check into Robert Morningsky's work, the Terra Papers. There's countless other things. One of the things that Dan Winters does well is outlines that particular history of what occurred. And I would hazard to say it was based a lot on the notes of Robert Morningsky, now Robert Morningstar, whose grandfather had an interaction with a star being that had crashed here, and his grandfather and a few other Apaches had actually rescued this star elder, who told them the galactic story, basically. Anyway, so to fill it in minor detail, there was a collision between what you would probably recognize as the Death Star from Star Wars. They've played it all out for us, guys. It's all been there. All the world's a stage. If you're not paying attention, hey, they're telling you. You just got to look. And I got to tell you, truth is stranger than fiction. And some of it's hard to swallow, but when you sit on it long enough, you soon learn not to choke on the truth anymore. So Tiamat being out there got smacked into by one of these man-made objects and knocked it out of its proper orbit or its proper place, which is the guys were talking about. See, Dr. Bott is one of these guys I love. Same with Nassim Harriman. They bring this to light with they destroy the heliocentrical notion of the zodiac, and what they do is they reinforce everything you've been doing, Santo, in that the precession or the wobble rather is the entire solar system moving wobbling at the same rate. And maybe if you want to explain about that, but what I'm trying to convey here is how this particular solar system got knocked out of its natural rhythm with the displacement of the planets where they were supposed to be, and why we have the mixed up days of Tuesday and Wednesday, etc. That only makes sense to me. That's just another clue as to what really happened. So if you could maybe expand a bit on what the guys were talking about last night with regards to the precessional wobble and how the solar system works.
Yeah, well, as the sun is spiraling through the heavens, it's going forward, really, through those signs. But because we have leaned upon our senses and the studying of effects rather than leaning on our knowing and the studying of causes, we see this as a backwards movement through the skies, going contrary to the daily and yearly flow. of the signs of the zodiac. But that's just our serpent flying through the heavens as it's spiraling in circular polarized motion. So it will always be polarized to that vortex as it's flying serpent, just like the Egyptians depicted it. Exactly. The Chinese, the dragons, it's dragon energy. It's the electric universe we live in. Exactly.
And again, I'm just blown away with how many things are absolutely just falling into place right now. You want to talk about your 7 levels of knowing, right? And I mean, I've looked at the Cain and Abel story various different ways, how it's been portrayed. You got your biblical version of it, right? Which is the kindergarten level. If you want to take it literally, go ahead, knock yourselves out. Me, thanks. There's a bit more to that. And what you've explained about it, what Bill Donohue's explained about it, the different references, like taking the Cain and Abel to being the port and the starboard side of the ship being the mind, ancient etymology. That comes out of Gemini, by the way, the mind-ship thing. And when you start tying all these, or never mind tying, when you start peeling these layers off and you start seeing them for what they really are, that's where you're going to find the truth. And it's like, going back to the Emerald Tablets of Thought. Every time you could read the same chapter, once a week, every week, and I guarantee you every week you'll pull something new out of it. Because with new understandings come new revelations, okay? And that's what this is about. This is about unveiling, or not reveiling, it's unveiling, okay? And I tell you, the word trickery, Santo, you've been walking hand in hand with me and others of the word trickery, and how we've been just shredding it down to its most beautiful core, because the English language is the biggest trap and biggest freedom, if you can see it.
Yeah.
Just my thoughts.
Absolutely. There's no need to demonize things anymore. When there are people out there, for instance, that are so polarized that to them the Bible is hocus pocus, crock of shit, not worth reading, there's nothing in there of value. And then you've got people that will kill you because you don't believe their version of it. And there's no in between, because they have no perspective. They don't have eyes to see and ears to listen. These are morons.
They're the sheep. They're the ones that are groupthink. They're the mass consciousness we're trying to wake up. Exactly, Santo. It's people that are, that herd together because someone with a louder bell went there first, and we'll go over there, and they follow them. And
these are people. The churchgoers are stumbling the fence sitters, and then they turn into complete atheists. And both conditions are polarized, and they're both useless. We are both of those types are running away from their divinity, from the divine. One is denying it, and one is destroying it because of ignorance. And so this is what syncretism does, and astrotheology and astrology. These are the science of as above, so below. And it gives you perspective. So then now you have eyes to see and ears to hear, like that beautiful song, one of my favorites, Horse with No Name. It's you get the meaning. You don't get lost. Look at the Wizard of Oz.
Oh, I love that story. The Emerald City, there it is, guys. The yellow brick road is what you're trapped on. And you've fallen asleep in the poppy field. And then when you finally get to the city, you've brought everything you thought you needed, only to be turned away because the one that demanded what was needed didn't have the power to demand it in the first place, and you always had the answers all along. It's only up to you to see that, to hear it yourself. And this is where we have to get out of the fear. And the only time you're going to learn anything is when you get out of fear, because fear comes from the very simple, very, very simple concept of the terror of being wrong. And I spent a lifetime trying to be wrong, which made it a bit easier to find truth, because that's all I was interested in. I didn't care about being right or wrong. I crossed that threshold and said, well, this is kind of pointless. I just need to find truth. And I got to tell you, Peter, Tony, Santo, does that resonate with you guys?
Yep. I haven't been in the fear factor for a long time. I got over the fear a long time ago. Screw the. Yeah, it's the only control mechanism for all the sheep. I'm way past all that.
Yeah, it's only when you get past that you can see how wrong you were.
And that's something else too. Once you get past the fear, there's a fear threshold, and when you get past a certain point, you enter the realm of the untouchable. Because when you become aware and uncontrollable, you become uncontrollable and untouchable. That's how this universe works. That's why the universe loves a courageous being. It's only those that have the willingness to stand, and not just for themselves, to stand for others. And that's exactly what we're doing. And I'll speak for everyone that I have in this call right now, because I know their experiences, and I'm going to speak for them. We didn't do this for fame, glory, and to get rich, because quite the opposite happened. Okay, we've been berated. We've been literally gleaned of any sort of material wealth that you'd want to consider. We've had our families ripped from us. Well, me anyway, and I know, Tony, you lost a brother through your walk, and you know, the race was on to get to a certain point to make sure that once I reached that point, all those connected to me were safe, and that was my biggest goal. And even my own kids and Sue don't realize this. This was the race that I was on. It wasn't about saving my own skin. It was about making sure that, you know, they were kept safe, and I had to get to a certain point. And as it turns out, they're fine. They're safe. You know, lose the fear, guys. Get in gear. It's time to stop playing in the kindergarten sandbox and start putting on your God booties, because that's what you are. We're all creators. And all I was trying to do with the Cain and Abel story is to show how that initial division started, which created the effect of this illusion that gave it power over us. Because when that essence of creation is ripped from us, that's where the fear comes in. Because I'll tell you this right now, when there was that inability to procreate in the physical sense as part of the divine plan, when that was manifest on this physical plane, that's where fear got introduced, and that's where control took us over. I'm awake. I'm good.
Well said.
Yeah, too true. Too true. Fear serves the controlling few, like a little dog can control a whole bunch of sheep. You know, David Icke's great illustration where the one sheep breaks away from the crowd and starts chasing the dog, and you see the dog run for it. The dog is also in fear. Yeah, I guess these controllers have their role, and which will result in perdition and damnation most probably, but that's their role. And we've been sharing the same planet with them for a very special reason. But their day is over. They can't do this anymore to awakened humanity, and this is our day, guys. Seize the day.
Yeah, carpe diem.
Yeah.
You know, I want to add to that as well, with regards to those that are of the darker elements here. I have nothing but love and gratitude for them, because without them I would never have had the mirror in which to see my own darkness, in which to correct my own malfeasant ways, to bring my own being into the light. And it will be my first wish that all those that have helped me gain the same rewards. because there is no good or evil. There is good and evil, and neither can be granted the blessing or the damnation. All in my universe, I'm sorry guys, but in my universe, all are equal, and it is upon that benevolence that I can see that creation come back into the light, where we can bring this creation back to where that division, that divine dead and conquered illusion that has been created for who knows how long, how many Groundhog Days have we run this one, where everything and everyone comes back into the light as an equal part of creation, a benevolent aspect. Only those that choose to shy away or turn away from that benevolence, that will be their free will choice. But I will not stand in judgment of any, regardless of what has been done to me at any point in my own history and how many times I've had to pass through these meat sticks in order to learn these lessons. And I'll tell you, the one lesson I will take out of this is, regardless of how bad anything can get, well, someone had it worse, and all can be forgiven if forgiven can be accepted. And that's the choice. That's the only choice we have. I won't trespass on free will choice, whether it's to be evil or good. It doesn't matter to me. I will choose my way. That's something I would do. I will choose the benevolence. That's my choice. That's something I would do. Being malfeasant is no longer something I would do. Being evil is something I wouldn't do anymore. And this, for me, was my lesson. This was my humility cast upon the stones. I built my houses on the sand in the past. Now I am on granite, and that house is unshakable. And that's where my post is. That's where I stand, and I shall not yield, and none shall pass. But all are welcome.
Yeah, there's a very good interview on YouTube called The Banker. And if you go to just the search engine and type in The Banker, there's a guy who's sitting there and he's going to give you a different approach as to what the bankers think about the sheeple, the human race in mass. And it's the very reason that he says that, what the bankers feel and think that they are doing is benefiting the entire human race by putting us through this negative, terrible stuff in order to teach us. And it's that very point of view that Kate's just explained that allows this to continue. Because we've got to get to the point where Kate's at, and it's like, right, okay, I'll put my finger in the flame, I got burned, and if you keep putting your finger back in that flame and you keep doing the same things over and over again, you're going to keep getting burned. And it's that lesson that the bankers and those people are trying to teach you. Stop letting us do it, and we'll stop doing it to you. Why are you letting us do it? Because you're stupid. Okay, stop being stupid, and
we're creating it.
The truth, and the truth will set you free.
Yeah, we're creating it. So at what point are we not responsible? And this is what the guys were talking about last night, Santo. I'm trying to pull this together with that beautiful interview. You know, what they were talking about last night is, speaking of the Creator, there is the one consciousness, and we're part of that. And it's only against ourselves that we're doing this. So how about we take back the cause over the effect, instead of being an effect of someone else's cause? And that's what it is about keeping your power. So any of you people listening out there that voted, go shove your head in the door jamb and slam the door on it a couple of times, okay? Maybe that might be enough of a trigger to remind you not to give someone else your power anymore. Because that's exactly how we've been controlled in our ignorance, by giving our power away, by electrifying, by your volt. These people that are and you know what? They are just doing their job, and I'll buy that. Because I've got my job to do in awakening and showing. My light has to be as strong as their dark in order to show them what love is, and they have to show me enough dark so that I can find that most benevolent love. There is no good or evil. There is good and evil, and there is good and evil in everything. You get to be the one to decide. Are you at the North Pole looking down, seeing a counterclockwise turning Earth, or are you at the South Pole looking up, seeing a clockwise turning Earth, the Merkaba? And that's all you got to do. I just chose to live on the equator. And I can rotate myself so I can see north and south as north and south, or south and north. It doesn't matter. I can put South America, if I go upside down in relative terms to the equator, the world looks upside down. But what is upside down when you're in balance in the center? Go out in the middle of space and tell me what up and down is. Tell me what left and right is. You won't know your arse from a hole in the ground. That's what you got to get. You got to get lost in space, baby. Close your eyes, get meditating, get the tongue to roof your mouth, and go home for a little bit. You'll see the answers. Just saying. Like, jump in, guys. Anytime.
Yeah. I was just thinking your illustration about put your head in the door jamb and and hit your head if you vote for these guys. What they're offering, what's on offer in terms of presidents and leaders is wow. It's the dumbest of the dumbest, really.
Yeah, it's true.
It's getting worse and worse, and people are still voting for them. I mean, people actually really, really did go and vote for George Bush. This is how dumb this is. It's whoa. That just tells you a lot about this planet and how much it's suffering.
George
a Nazi war killer, criminal. The family is involved in pedophilia. Senior Bush is known as one of the most murderous pedophiles on the planet. He kills more little boys as he's raping them that you can ever possibly imagine. Probably no other human on the planet has done more raping and killing of little boys than George Bush Sr. and eating of them. Guaranteed, guys. Absolutely guaranteed. Have you seen the Franklin cover-up where Paul Bonacci, same name as me, witnessed at Bohemian Grove? He witnessed some of these senior CEOs of the world where they would have their sexual favours done in public in front of chained boys, and then they'd have a gun, pull it out, and after they'd have their service completed, they would blow their brains out. And Paul was there to witness this, what happens in Bohemian Grove, where they have a big lineup of pedophiles that go there. They're all pedophiles, man, and they actually physically... Alex Jones didn't expose much at all, really. The true story was exposed by Paul Bonacci, because he was a young gay guy that, male prostitute. And he was in there, you know, and he saw it. It's real. And the Franklin cover-up was supposed to go... It was supposed to go public on mainstream TV. They took it off. Do you remember that?
Yeah. I remember the Franklin affair, and again, you look at what's happening with the BBC in England right now with Jimmy Savile, right?
Yeah.
Of course, and he got knighted because it's not like the Queen and the rest of their pack are into making kids disappear. You might want to ask Kevin Annett for William Coombs' story, whom they murdered in hospital, where in 1964, I believe it was, the Queen and the Duke showed up at a residential school in British Columbia. I think it was Nanaimo, somewhere in British Columbia. And there was 10 kids that were selected and taken away, and they were never seen again. And William Coombs was going to attest to that as a witness. And shortly after he went public on a video with it, he ended up in hospital, and 2 days later he was dead. They put him into a coma, and that was it. Pulled the plug 2 days later. So these are the kind of entities that we're dealing with. And again, we have to go back to what is it going to take to wake us up? How many more of us have we got to lose? How much more pain do we have to feel in order to stop raping our mother, Earth, ripping her veins of silver and gold out where she can't receive the frequencies she needs, where we're emptying her bowels where she can't move her tectonic plates as she's trying to grow and birth, where we're plundering the soil, totally modifying the plants where there's no nutritional value in, where we've totally made illegal and debased the most important plant on this earth, cannabis, the tree of life itself, that which is, we have direct, absolutely next in line, delta 9 to delta 10, baby, on the mitochondrial DNA. Okay? I mean, these are all the pieces that are coming together. What I wanted to suggest earlier, and this is something I'm glad you're here to listen for, Santo, is that we talked about cotton bond as being, you know, the paper they use in courts, but as I said earlier in the show, cotton is the paper of slaves, because only slaves pick cotton. And what we need to do is go back to the real paper that the real laws are written on. We won't use the skins of children. We'll actually go to the source, where we'll go to hemp. We'll use the paper from our mother life source, and upon that will we make our seal with blood, red wax intermingled with our own living, imploding, life-giving blood, of which there can be no denial of whose it is. And that's what goes on the hemp, because you're creating the bond with heaven and earth. Earth is the tree of life, mother, the creation, where we are, and the as above, the ether, is the blood. Our blood is our spirit. That's why they wanted to own it. That's why the bloodlines were claimed, the surnames, the registrations, all of it on down the line. They wanted to claim the very existence of what it is we are from the ether. Our blood is pure, liquid ether. Bonded to the paper of hemp, not cotton. I'm not a slave. I am of this earth, and I will protect her, and to the death will I protect her. And I will create my bond in my blood with her source. Gaia's living. Shall stop killing our mother anytime soon now. I decided that's a good idea.
Well, you're just speaking in Gaia's behalf. That's how it works. We are networked to her consciousness, and we are her children speaking for her, by her, with her, in her. This is how it works. And unless we understand that, we're lost too. We're totally interconnected with the earth. Totally. And her consciousness. And she's speaking through us. We are her children, you see. So it's time to help her breathe and not support the fictions, the corporations that are destroying her, corpses, parasites.
You know, I'm going to ask all the listeners, and we do have a lot. What I'm going to ask the listeners are, you know, just take a minute and stop and think about this beautiful place that we live. It's the only place we have. This is the only place we have right now, and we are stuck here by our own ignorance and our own willingness to be stuck here, and in the process destroying the very place that gave us life. And may I suggest that let's get into the intentive now and make the aware, conscious decision that we're not going to do that anymore, that we're going to start doing things in a pro-life way, where we're going to work towards planting things. And I would say get hemp out there, as many female plants in the outside as you can, and male plants, grow them inside. Keep everything going. And what I want people to do is make that aware, conscious decision that maybe they're going to drive 10 kilometers less this week and put less pressure on the earth and more pressure on the oil companies just to give up their bullshit. We're going to put more pressure on getting the Tesla and Kesha technologies and all of that information out into mainstream. We're going to make the aware, conscious decision that we're not going to take any more fear bullshit from their courts, their religions, and the rest of their politicians. We've learned the lesson. They can go away now. And that's all we have to do. We just have to change our mind. We have to stop feeding them the power. And we're doing that at every turn. I'm done. I've had enough. I've said that to myself. Enough is enough. Peter, what about you?
Like I said, yeah. You just hit me a nerve. It's all good. Yeah, the proverbial bonfire's coming. It really is on a whole different level. And you know what? They're fucking caught with their hands in the cookie jar on so many different levels. See, that's what I love about what I'm fixing to put forward. It's all go in love and harmony. and we just want to settle the account because, hey, that's what a good debtor does. That's what they have us classified as. So we're going to settle the proverbial account. And you ain't going home until you settle the damn account, folks. I'm going to show you how to do this stuff. I said, you want to have some fun? Watch the clowns run like the scared little scummy-ass cockroaches they are, because when the light hits their ass, Diatra proved it irrefutably. A little sweet thing from Mississippi followed a little directive and went in and shook the tree, and the son of a bitches went like little girls. The little scum-sucking bottom feeders they were caught with a proverbial hand in the cookie jar. So it's time to do it en masse, folks. This is a wake-up call. You know what? They ain't got shit. You know what? So when you go in Love and Harmony, they got to eat a big shit sandwich, see, because there's no controversy. When you remove the controversy, there's not a damn thing they can do. They can cry and whine and stomp their feet like the little spoiled fuckers they are, but that's all right. We'll put the bastards to bed because they're going to be. I'm going to be creating a catch-22. My objective is an untenable situation, and I'm so freaking pissed about the bullshit, the trading of the asses of the masses off a hypothecation. It's time to put the bear to bed. You got me excited. I was laying quiet for an hour, and I had all this pent-up energy. It just came out. Sorry.
Listen, you know what, bud? You're just putting it out there, and I know it's not going out with maliciousness. It's all I'm sensing from you is you've had enough, and would you please stop? Just stop. I want to watch the movie now, okay?
Yep.
And something else, guys. Thank you, Miranda. You just tagged me here, and here's something else that you can do. Here's a baby step that you can do to start putting life back into your mother. You can go out and maybe tinkle on her, because when you urinate on mother, you are giving her life. That's why I wanted to get Miranda on tonight. We were going to talk about these different things in terms of the Philosopher's Stone. You see, the waters that come through you are the waters of life, and they contain literal crystals of life. And when you, and it's water, it has memory, and when you flow love and pure intent of thought, and that includes when you're using the facilities inside, be it number 1 or 2, it's irrelevant. Just know that what you're doing is giving back that which you have harvested, because in the process of eating food to keep you alive, you have ingrained in the urine and the feces literal components of your living essence that go back into the earth and regenerate more. You're creating more when you give your life back to her. And I mean that. This is the exponential creation. You are a conduit of that creation. And we got 5 minutes left here, guys, so I want you all to get your says in as far as websites and final points that you'd like to make. So whoever wants to go first, go ahead.
Yeah, let me. At privatist.me, I'm in flux at the moment because I'm always in flux. But I will be posting a new portal on the medical side of the house here very shortly, as far as alternative methodologies, folks, to get your body, your mind right. Dirt cheap methodologies that they don't want you knowing about, like the salts and other stuff, and hemp and all sorts of fun stuff. So it's going to be a new portal for your educational overview to get your mind right, get your body right, and you know what? You don't need chemicals, folks. Yep, I'm telling you right now, the chemicals will destroy you, but the good stuff I'm talking about is going to make you whole again on a whole different level. So privatist.me, privatis.me, and we're going to begin the game. So I'm fixing to open up a whole bunch of different portals on education on the site. So get on in. Start with Changes on the Horizon Part 2, folks. Get your mind right and find out how all this crap got put upon you to get your game face on. And your education is fixing to be forthcoming. It's all meat and potatoes. I don't put any cotton candy in there. Anyway, so that's where I'm at.
Okay, we got 2 minutes here. Hey, Santo.
Yeah.
Okay, your final thoughts. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, I just want to say that I'm going to have Matt Presti on the show. How do I identify name the show? Is it just Syncretism or Freedom Reigns?
No, it's syncretism on Freedom Reigns Blog Talk Radio.
Yeah, is that how I should say it? Okay.
Doesn't matter. It's your show. You can say whatever way you want. Syncretism, they all know where they're going to find it. It's on Freedom Reigns. It's all good.
Yeah, right. So, but next week, special guests Matt Presti and Robert Otey. In the meantime, go and check out their stuff and check out the interview I did with them yesterday. And I really know that it is the way to go for the future. What they are doing is beautiful. How they're reviving Russellian science. It is true science from the perspective of cause and studying causes rather than effects. So do that, and that's about the most encouraging. Oh, I also uploaded Syncretism, the perennial philosophy. It's public now. Last night, 6 hours ago, and this is the series of Syncretism that I'm going to do. So
excellent.
Yep.
Well, okay, that's awesome, Santo. So don't forget, Sunday night for Santo, 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard on Freedom Reigns, Blog Talk, Radio, Syncretism. Friday night, don't forget, we have Cosmic Blueprints with host Tony Z, who is in the call right now. We got a couple of seconds left, so I'm just going to ram this through. So on Friday night, we have Stephen Kelly coming on. It's going to be one hell of a show. Don't want you to miss it. Hopefully, I might even get Miranda to sit in there as well, just for fun. On Freedom Reigns Friday night, Blueprint or Cosmic Blueprints with Tony. And thank you for joining us. I'm Kate of Gaia here on Outside the Box, Freedom Reigns, Blog Talk Radio. Have a great night. Much love to all.
Very good.
Okay, we're off.
Good. Yeah, beautiful.
All right, so yeah. Patrice, was that you? Is that you in the call here or what? Area code 401? No, I don't know. The line's been hot the whole time.
Yes.
Oh, it is you.
No,
okay.
it's me. It is me. Yes, it is me. Yep.
I'm surprised.
I was muted. Sorry.
No, that's okay, hon. That's okay. Yeah, I just got to end the recording here, but I just wanted to make sure that I thought it was you. I thought I was losing my mind, but
no, I texted you. I texted you and said I was coming on muted, but you probably.
Oh, okay. I don't know where my phone is. That's probably the problem. It might be upstairs. I didn't hear anything, or I could have been outside when it went off. I'll give you a call as soon as you get out there. I'll call you on my cell. Okay, hon?
Sounds good. Thank you.
All right. Love you guys. Have a great night, and we'll talk a bit later. Okay?
Thanks, guys.
Okay.
See you then.
All right. Thanks, Santo. Thanks, Tony.
Cheers, mate.
All right. Bye-bye.
Cheers.
To do with your sorry loser life. You've got no soul. I'm going to go on a little tear tonight because, you know, I am really sick and tired of these scum-sucking losers. You know, I mean, you got to be a soulless piece of crap that you can actually do the deeds that you do. Yeah, you shall know them by their deeds. Well, I know them by their deeds, and they are nothing but nefarious, bottom-feeding bloodsuckers, you know? I mean, we got to protect our kids.
You know? You gotta go, man. You gotta learn to open up because, you know, Tony and I have been working with you to get you to really start expressing and you know, embrace the feminine masculine. You know, to let that emotional, you know. I love you.
You know, yeah. Well, you know, it's just, you know, it's a sad. It's really, really a pathetic, sad state of affairs that this is actually going on in my so-called world. I mean, under the guise of protectionism, what a crock of crap that is. These people can't find their freaking asses with both hands. They can't protect shit. Matter of fact, their objective is not to protect. Their objective is to destroy because they are soulless and they have nothing better to do because they're afraid they're going to lose their power and control. Well, hell, son of a bitches, you never had it to start with. How about getting that memo? Yeah, because you can't contain what you never had to start. You might think you got it in your mind. Yeah, you might have some batons, you might have some Laws rockets, you might have some hand grenades, whatever. You know, but you got no soul. So guess what? You got nothing. You're a loser with a capital L. What type of scum actually does this type of crap to their brother? So I'm figuring they're devoid of total capacity, total functionality of having a soul. So, you know, I think I'm hitting the nail on the head, and if y'all are listening, you better start going looking in the freaking mirror, because you are, you know what, you will be dealt with on a different level. Yeah, maybe not by me. You can kill the bodies, but you can't kill the spirits, you yeah, whatever.
I
forgot to take my medication today. Damn it.
You have inspired me, Peter. I'm going to dedicate at least 15 minutes of every Outside the Box show to a new segment I'm going to dedicate to Pete. You're going to run it, and it's called Pass Me the Chainsaw.
Yeah, they'll call it Peter's Rant.
Oh, my goodness. You know, and here's the thing. For all the times that people have tuned in, and so much time I've had the opportunity to spend with you, the joy of listening to you when you go off on these, you bring it to the table, but you don't bring intention with it, which is, you know, you're stating the case, and it is strictly, all I can feel coming out of you is empathy, pity, and just the sheer desire for these nefarious ones, as you like to call them, just to wake up. And this is the joy of listening to your rants. That's why I giggle, because, and same with Santo, it's the same deal. You know, you guys can go off on this beautiful tear, and it's completely devoid of any sort of maliciousness. It's just the sheer nurturing of wanting these beings to, give them a shake and wake up, you know. So it's always colorful. It's always enlightening.
Yeah, I'm trying to. I'm still trying to wonder in my mind how they can look themselves in the mirror and actually like what they see. So it's obviously they don't see, because, you know, I learned this young. People that have really good senses of self, they don't throw stones across the street at their brothers. You know, when you have a good, healthy sense of self and you know who you are as a man, you don't have to take pot shots across everybody else's bow to justify and validate that you think you're king shit or something better than what you are. You know what? Because we're all men. We all put our pants on the same day, and women, you know, and nobody died and left you God. But somehow you think you have some extra perception or extra special clout that you can do these dirty deeds under the guise that somebody died and left you in charge. Boy, talk about stuck on stupid. Talk about a grandiose bunch of sons of bitches. I mean, who literally don't have a clue who the hell they are in their minds, know who they are. So we're gonna have to put them in a box so we can hypothecate some more bonds off them, because nobody's lending USA Inc. any money. Oh, and hey, while we're at it, we can rape all the rest of the estates, rape the bank accounts, the 401(c)(3)s, all the other crap that everybody's laid over, didn't know that they signed it over because they didn't read the damn banking contract. Matter of fact, yeah, nobody reads anything, sort of like the driver's license they go sign up for, saying they're a vessel in commerce and completing the circle. Well, like I say, I can't blame my brothers and sisters, but, you know, at the same time, yeah, I guess in a way we have to take responsibility for our own actions. If we're not willing to read and educate ourselves on how this is going down, then I guess we're in a conundrum. And so how do we release ourselves from the conundrum is just pulling back the curtain and finding out the truth. So we're definitely on the right page. But, yeah, they're doing some very fun stuff across USA Inc. Now they want to classify everybody as a sovereign citizen. Gee whiz. A label. Oh, we want to put a label on you so we can hypothecate some dollars off you because we're broke. We don't have no more money, so we got to rape your estate. Jeez. Yeah, well, that drum's about done beat out. And so, anyways, yeah.
Yeah, I got that article you sent over, by the way, and of course you see the pictures of the two jarheads that were sitting at the desk like they're almost looking important. But I got to tell you, it's a great way to know how deep we are going into the belly of the beast and literally piercing the heart when you see a couple of guys dedicated from North Carolina to educating clerks of the court, you know, and we're talking to deed registry offices, everything. They are getting hammered. And here's the thing, the more that they have to try to alert those inside as to what's going on, all it's doing is creating more and more awareness as to what is going on. And this is how they're destroying themselves, and it's beautiful. So I really wish they would bring out a whole lot more stuff on the sovereign citizens to give us more exposure. I'm not a sovereign citizen, but I'm just talking about truth and the awakening in general here. I would never claim to be a sovereign or a sovereign citizen or a free man or any of that garbage. Because, you know, people, I got to tell you something. You know, it's been a long walk, and yeah, the words sounded good at the beginning, but when you really get into the nitty-gritty of this shite, you start to see the traps that they are. And I got to tell you, Well, Pete, you're right. They are running shitless right now, and I am so loving it. It's funny to watch these guys in a panic. So.
Yeah, I mean, here's the irony. They say, oh well, if you have nothing to hide, yet they're bugging everybody's computers, going through their emails, going through this. This past week, Obamaism passed another nefarious executive order under the cloak of darkness while nobody was paying attention. Everybody's dead of damn sleep. We've got to know what's in your computer and stuff. Folks, I mean, when it's like, this is a paramount to a friggin' psychological rape as well as emotional rape, because, I mean, when somebody's got to come in and read my shit, my mail, I mean, if your life is that friggin' boring that you got to come read my shit because you got the fucking thought police out there friggin' worried about that I might say something or do something or create I mean, this is the most crazy making crap I've ever seen in my entire life. In the 52 years of my walking upright on the earth, you gotta love how the scum-sucking bottom soulless feeders have nothing better than to do than create a chasm between their brothers and sisters. You know what? They're not. These are. Yeah, I'm starting to really believe the reptilian modality that people are bringing forward. I mean, they definitely genetic code is screwed up on a different level, because I don't think to broach anybody's privacy in any way, shape, or form on any level. Do no harm is where I come from. I am not a threat to anyone. I come in peace. Yet you want to come into my world and create all this mayhem. So that tells me you're a chicken shit piece of crap that's got nothing better.
What are your thoughts?
To be honest, I've got to be truthful. I was typing a text into the Freedom Range chat room, and I wasn't actually listening to the last bit of the information. So if you can give me the information again, that would be really helpful.
Oh yeah, well, we're just basically talking about how to chainsaw the system and the overall awakening of trying to get these that are asleep to get them awake, and how it may seem like we're being malicious. We're not. We're at that point now, and everyone can feel it.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, here's my take on that. Right. I mean, we all know that's the reason I put the book there. And the simple thing is, if you can explain to people that the box that they're living in is way, way, way smaller than they actually think it is, and things like space travel, interstellar travel, teleportation, force fields, tractor beams, free energy technology. We don't need money. We don't need this construct bullshit anymore. In fact, we're living on a planet where we've been forced nose into the gutter to pay for everything, including water. I mean, it's our divine right to be on this planet. The construct is the thing that's forcing our face into the gutter and saying, you will pay us more, you will suffer, and you will do without to give us your money, which is all a bloody part of the construct anyway. So the sooner the people get the bigger part of the information, then we can come back and look at the little bits like, the law, the legal system, this construct, that construct, the money, the job scenario. I mean, shit, just making marijuana legal could have entirely solved this financial crisis. There you go, job done. I don't need a shitload of politicians to quibble and just feed me a load of bullshit for the next 2 years while we get deeper and deeper and deeper into the crowd. I know the way out. I know the flipping solutions. The point is, we've got to get everybody else out there to understand the solutions. And that's what we're here trying to do. We've got the solutions, guys. We know what the problems are. We know who's responsible. We know where it goes at retreat. And we're out here trying to do the best that we can do in order to get you the information, to empower you, the listeners, so that you can do it as well. And that's pretty much in a nutshell what my opinion is.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm listening. I had to unmute. Sorry, I was just... here. Miranda, if you are on the page, if you could type to... I just want a couple of things I want to clarify with you just to make sure you understand what I'm typing to you. This is a problem with typing most of the time, is people misconstrue what is actually being said. But just bear with me for a second, folks. When you go to the page, and if you try to log in, Miranda, can you hear me first off? Type that you can hear me, and then I'll come back and walk you through this to get you on, because we need to hear from you tonight. There's a lot of information you have that needs to be shared. Lots of very interesting information that I think needs to be heard. Oh, there she's typing now. Anyway, okay, she can hear me. Here we go. What I need you to do is in your Skype, if you right-click the BTR host number, whatever it is, you just have to hide the conversation. It's right at the very bottom to get rid of it, because sometimes it'll create a conflict. Okay? So you have to get rid of those. I do it every time with a BTR host 1 or BTR host 2, depending on what comes up. Because if I have that on there, it kind of confuses Skype. I don't know what happens, but I'm just clear your board kind of thing. Then hit the Skype button again, and that should bring you on the board, because I'm keeping my eyes like a hawk on it right now. Get what I mean? If you don't, just tell me and I'll explain it again. No problem. Anyway, Peter, I wanted to go a bit further on that thing, the notice.
Hey, good evening. Welcome to Outside the Box. The normal one, yes, not a special edition tonight, but they're all special because, well, gosh darn, you're special. Hi, I'm your host, Kate of Gaia, here on Outside the Box, Freedom Reigns Blog Talk Radio. Yeah, it's been good of late, eh? I got to tell you. Well, we got Peter and Tony on the call right now. Just waiting for Santo and Miranda from the UK. So we're going to have you guys one hell of a show tonight, that I promise. I'm going to bring a couple of things to the table that will definitely bring a new perspective to a couple of things, some age-old paradigms that it's time to start shredding some stuff and really peeling back the layers of this illusion as to what the original sin is and how we got our sorry asses into this contract to begin with. Because that's kind of been the path I've been on all along, and you know, right or wrong, I don't give a shit. I'm just looking for truth. And Peter, what about you?
Oh, just on the crunchberry path to bringing these folks into compliance with the real world, thinking somebody died and left them God.
Yeah, isn't that the truth? Well, it's going to get into some pretty heady territory here, so I'm just going to keep my eyes open for Miranda. I've given her some direction, so if she needs me and I get quiet, it's because I'm trying to help her to get into the room here, into the call. And I should mention to people, Tony, we got you live here. Just want to make sure you're good and ready to go there.
Yep, live and getting great.
Oh, there he is. Listen to that. All right. I do want to mention to people that this is a call-in show. You can call in via Skype. You'll see your little Skype button on your radio page. If it's not there, just refresh it, and it will appear like magic, like the rest of this universe. Or you can call us at area code 714-868-0749. That's area code 714-868-0749. That way, if you want to get in on the call, we'd love to have you. And hey, it's up to you, right? So, Peter, I think we're going to start tearing some brand new ones tonight. I'm going to give you the opening chainsaw because I know you're just chomping at that cable to get it pulled and fire that puppy up. So, where do you want to make the first cut in the system?
No, let's start into all these false lies they keep dragging to court against dead entities, against dead men and women who they've basically raped the estates of my brothers and sisters because they didn't know they were operating under estates. So they keep drafting everybody for performance and bringing them into the game. And I'm working on some little golden nuggets to bring this out the other side. I'm hoping I'll have a much more clarity, but Yeah, we won't talk about the red box tonight much, but be steady in holding that we are moving the train forward on a different level, and they will be getting the memo. So that's the whole point of the exercise. They got to get the memo because they really think somebody died and left them in charge. So they call us the dead ones. They're the ones that are dead. They're dead inside. They are the soulless ones for the lucre, and they've been doing these dirty deeds for hundreds of years. And now the poop is getting out of the elephant, and it's all catching up with them. Matter of fact, they're getting very nervous across the board in USA Inc. So they've got to create some more chasms, via, their little games called, these people are trying to secede, and you're such a weak-kneed Willie that you've got to go break down doors of people, beat people up, force compliance at the end of a gun, and call it a voluntary act. I mean, I think they call it insanity from where I live.
Well, yeah, absolutely, and that's one of the things that I do want to broach on tonight in regards to the original sin. I'm going to be sharing the story of Cain and Abel with everyone from a completely different perspective as it unfolded to me this afternoon in a couple of minor download epiphanies on the fly, and I saw a whole lot of things tie in together. Like everything's just clicking, and it's going to actually bring into play that which you have been talking about, because when we're dealing with controversy, and we've talked about this a lot, all of us, when you're dealing with controversy, especially in court, anytime there is controversy, what you're dealing with there is division of self. Anytime there's a debate or an argument, when there has to be a position of defense, or to try to take the position of the high road or the higher road, or whatever the case may be, we're all very familiar with it. It's one of the reasons why I spend most of my time just breathing and just feeling stuff coming at me constantly, and to the point where it's like, you know what, I don't want this anymore. It's yours, and I just throw it back. It's just the way I am. I'll carry as much as I possibly can. And you've worked with myself and Tony and Santo and others enough to know me in general. When I am bringing across a concept, and I do this on the webinars for Maria Janet that I do every Thursday. This is the joy of this, in that when I'm presenting a concept, I literally have it might not be a 2 or 3 step concept to get to the finished point, but most times it's going to take 6 or 7 points to get people to go, okay, I know exactly what you're saying, and I can duplicate exactly what you're asking me to have a look at. So I'm not trying to ram anything down anybody's throat. I don't give a shit if you get the information from me or not. I don't particularly care. I only care that the truth is uncovered, and I'll share it the best way I can. And sometimes those concepts take a little bit of time, and I would ask patience and forgiveness on my lack of ability to say it. Well, I could say it very quickly. 2 + 2 = 4. But you didn't understand that the question had nothing to do with the answer, right? And that's generally what happens, eh? The questions we ask generally have an answer we're not expecting, and that's kind of where I've been living for quite a while, the unexpected. And again, I'm still waiting for Miranda here. I think she had to download another version of Skype. Don't worry, we've got plenty of time to get her on, and that's when I want to get into the Cain and Abel story as it unfolded in my mind today as I wrote out the Skype. So, Tony.
Sorry about that. I was typing away. What you got?
I kind of figured you were. I put, ladies and gentlemen, I put Tony to sleep every time because he knows I get on a nap, and he goes off. I'm kidding.
You caught him napping, Kate. That's not good.
No, I do that all the time for Tony. You know what? Tony, I got to tell you, man, right now it is 20 minutes after midnight, and I know Tony goes to bed at 3 or 4 on average a.m. in the morning, and I'm sure he's probably up at the crack of dawn again. So, Tony, well, I can't say I don't know how you do it, because I know how you do it, and Peter, I'm sure you're the same way. All hours of the morning, get up at the crack of dawn. So it's with gratitude. So if you ever feel a need to sleep during the show, Tony, totally okay. I got it. Not blame it on the mute. What are your? Oh, please. I'm a bitch. Yes, I know. What?